Okay, so today I want to talk about something that's happened relatively recently in my life, and which I think is actually a very important thing for all young people to do at some point in their life. And that is changing city or moving to a new city. So the theory is built, I think, initially by Jordan Peterson, and then I think Alex Hormozi kind of ran with it a bit. But the idea is that if you want to grow very quickly or have drastic growth within a relatively short period of time, you need to change city. And the reason for this is because everyone around you, your friends and your family, they sort of build a persona or an idea of the person who you are. And once that idea is in place, they don't really want it to change. And often this idea of a person is a simplified version, because as humans we sort of simplify the world via these models which we make of things, and in this way we can understand the world. If we were to truly understand the world in its full complexity, it would be completely overwhelming. That would make sense, right? So now they have this model or idea of who you are, and when you do something that does not fit that mold of that idea, such as start a new business or do something crazy like change industry or whatever it may be, or you decide to become a vegan, then all of a sudden there's a lot of, it's almost in their head, it's as if their world is changing, and now subconsciously they are going to push back against that. And this is mostly what insecure people do, and they may even consciously sabotage your progress, but most likely it'll be subconscious, since most people are not, terrible people. So they might subtly just shit over your ideas, or subtly try to dissuade you from doing it, or point out the pitfalls or possible pitfalls. And so this is why Jordan Peterson and Alex Hormozi they recommend moving city. And in this way you free yourself from all those expectations that people place upon you and that you are almost pushed into conforming to. And now when you move to a different city, you don't have that resistance to change that you once had. And I myself, I moved city or town when I went to university. And this was extremely profitable for my personal growth. I did things that I never thought I would have done before. And honestly, that my friends kind of would have laughed at if I'd done before. I stopped playing cricket, which was my main sport. That was almost my identity growing up, which allowed me to have a bunch of extra time to try new things and grow as an individual. And this was kind of the catalyst which set me on the path of wanting to do something extraordinary with my life. Alright, so I did things that may seem stupid, or to some people they might say it's gay, but they really sort of allowed me to break out of that mold. And that was, I tried doing ballroom dancing, which wasn't for me. I tried doing a cappella, which wasn't for me. And I actually ended up doing a business pitching competition with a partner where we pitched a lion's mane mushroom business, and we would grow mushrooms in containers. And we actually ended up going to the finals. And this kind of was my first taste for business and business pitching to investors. And this was something that really sparked a new fire within my heart, and it's something that I wish to pursue further in the future. So yes, move to a new city, and I've done that again recently for a job, and it is difficult, right? You leave behind friends, and the question then in your mind is, is it worth it? You leaving behind these long-term friends which you have spent lots of time developing amazing friendships with, and you have built these support networks, right? Which are in a way extremely valuable for growth, because when you're going through difficult times, you can lean on these support networks, on these friends, and ask them for advice, and just get general support from them, okay? So you have this trade-off of you're going to lose friends, but you're going to grow. But there is another very interesting idea, right? So as you increase in status or competence, or just levels, let's call them levels, right? All of a sudden you're earning $200,000 a year and your friends are earning $40,000 a year. Are you really still going to be friends in 3 years' time? So inevitably what happens if you're obsessed with improving is you're going to kind of like break through all these friend groups that are at different levels, and you're going to consistently like transition friend group. And Chris Williamson calls this the lonely chapter. It's kind of a place where you're starting from ground zero and you're moving up to, you know, level whatever, and you can't, it's very difficult to have friends along the way. You know, it's difficult to meet people who are moving at the same speed as you. So he kind of had this point in his life where he moved from having friends at ground zero, and then he jumped all the way up to friends at the top. And this is difficult to deal with, but at the same time, what this means is you have a bunch of these friends or friend groups that you would lose along the way anyways. So even though when you move, you are losing contact with many friends, inevitably, the idea is that you would have lost these friends in any case if you were to self-improve or improve drastically, right? Because you would have broken through those friend groups. Like, as you improved, they would have not moved with you. And you might say, okay, yeah, but all my best friends are trying to improve, whatever. The likelihood that you would all move together is very slim. The likelihood that even one other person in that friend group of 4 or 5 people would move with you is probably less than like 5%. The likelihood of 2 people is like less than 1%. So I think moving is something that you should definitely do at some point in your life, and you shouldn't be scared to do it. And I think if you really want to pursue your dreams and do something incredible with your life, you can't let something like moving become a difficult thing to do in your life. It can't be something that you have to think about 300 times before you do. If you need to move to pursue something, then do it. If you need to move to break out of a friend group to grow, do it. If you need to move to get away from your parents, do it, right? So very recently, actually, in my life, I've met a very special girl, and I find myself in a position where I need to move to pursue my dreams. And unfortunately, I will most likely have to leave her behind. And I'm not sure how it's going to work out. But you see, I'm willing to accept the sacrifice. And I believe that if things are destined to be, they'll work out. But you can't sacrifice your dreams for hopes. So anyways, guys, that is my spiel for today. I hope the message came across clearly, and I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, see you in the next one.